It's that time of the month again. July has been and gone. We've got almost halfway through August, to be honest. But it has taken me a little while to get through to wrapping up the month. So in terms of the highlights, the big one was passing 14,000 lots, albeit briefly. Definitely going to be a struggle to keep it above that mark on an ongoing basis. Used played a huge part in getting me across the line, and huge has been a huge part of the sales this month. Kind of what you put in is what you get out, kind of demonstrated, as you'll see from the stats further on. Obviously July was 1 year in business, which also means we've got our first opportunity to have some kind of year-on-year analysis of growth versus revenue versus things like that. And for those of you that have mentioned in the past that I've stopped kind of showing the figures, pretty much that was down to the fact that it usually preceded by preceded? Yes. People going, are you paying your tax? Do you do your GST? Yes. I have another business which is ABN registered. This is kind of a sideline of that business. Everything goes through the other business. We pay our tax. We have our tax bill. And I pay PAYE and GST and claim everything I can claim and all of that. But it became a bit kind of drawing attention to things that weren't necessary. So that's why the actual numbers went. But what I have tried to do is create enough context for that you can see how the store performs, hopefully. But if people have specific questions, just message me on Bricklink, as a couple of people have done recently, and I'm happy to answer questions and give a bit more detail on a one-to-one basis. The other highlight of the month was really improving the inventory additions and the processes from the used, getting a little bit more sorted, to figuring out a bit more of a better way of managing my wanted lists, how to purchase inventory, and to bring it in a bit more of a steady feed rather than massive dumps of it. That said, August has had a couple of massive dumps of parts, which is good in one sense, but kind of goes against what I've just said. But on the whole, trying to create a bit more of a steady state for inventory coming in to counter inventory going out, which you can see from that chart down the end here. From kind of the first week of August, there was a massive bump up in parts, and that was through 2 large orders. But as you can see from the lot count, it's kind of petered away, kind of stabilized a little bit. But getting that back up here in the kind of the 20th of July was really around a big influx of used going in, and then building on that as I went through the month. So if you watch the vlogs, you'll know exactly what was going in and stuff like that. But as you can see, we've had a couple of nice little bump ups in August, which has taken us fairly high. Inventory breakdown is a new kind of statistic that I've tried to look at. In terms of parts, we are 97% new parts and 3% used. Of that means 78% of the store is new lots, and 22% of those lots are used. As you can see, the amount of variety in used lots is a greater proportion. And the value from the store, 96% of the store is valued in new, and only 4% of the value comes from used. So again, that kind of matches the parts. I wasn't really sure what to expect from that stat, and if I think of more stats and things to work out from that as I go along, I'll add these on the right hand side. And if you've got ideas of what could go on here that would be interesting, please leave a comment down below and I will add them in future performance reviews. So back to the standard stuff. Total sales by platform. Bricklink down a little bit, Brick Owl up a little bit, kind of that seems to seesaw a little bit. Maybe a future chart will be looking at how that does seesaw over the year. Now we've got a year's worth of analytics, or we will have in October, because I didn't start Brick Owl straight away, but not much change there, fairly static. Whereas kind of the sales on new versus old took a massive increase, clearly driven by a massive influx of used parts going in the store, but doubling from 8% to 19%, which did bring down the new sales. And anyone again that's watched the vlogs will have seen so many of the orders had a proportion or the majority of them being used parts, especially kind of mid-month onwards. From the 4 weeks of the month, this is kind of where we were. Total sold over the month was 28,270. Total added was 39,433, so a pretty good net gain. Week on week, week 27, we put more in than we took out. Week 28, more came out than went in, and 29, more went in than came out, and vice versa. You get the idea. Week 30 was a big week, and that stat does not reflect the chart, does it? 4,673 would be down by kind of what week 27 looks like, but my error. But we did put in 16,393 as a consequence of it being a quieter week, which was a great little addition to the store and definitely drove our lot count and part count getting higher and higher. Sales by colour, the usual suspects. Nothing really to report there. Star Wars colours remain being strong, reddish brown, tan, red, dark tan, and then the primary colours following up behind that. So it's what you see is what you get, and given that my kind of inventory has quite a Star Wars bias, nothing too unusual in any of that. So total sales for the month were 197 sales, which is the largest month of sales in the month. It was a little bit kind of skewed by one buyer making 4 orders, and that has happened in August as well. And on the whole, the orders were generally smaller in their lot counts or part counts, but certainly that was a 43% increase on June, which was a quiet month, which kind of continues this up, down, as you can see through kind of December, January, February, March. Kind of 1 month goes up, next month goes down, albeit not particularly significantly, apart from June, which was kind of quite significant. And equally, whilst we went down 26% in June, we went back up by 24% in July. In terms of items sold, again, kind of a big month, but not the biggest. April and May were pretty significant, slightly below that, kind of sitting in 4th place of the months ever, a 21% increase on the month before, and kind of, as we've said, that meant a 24% increase in revenue on the month. So the daily sales, a slow start to the month, and then the second half of it really did pick up quite significantly. 17th onwards, it got really busy with some large orders. The 17th was the day that the buyer ordered 4 orders of the same, but it was 13 orders in that day, so kind of it was still a above average day. What that meant was Wednesday was the highest day of the week, and as you can see, kind of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday built up, and then Monday, Tuesday were kind of similar, but Wednesday was the biggest. And in terms of kind of the March through to July, it does kind of follow that a little bit. Friday, Saturday and Wednesday continuing to be the largest day of the week, and Thursday continuing to be the slowest day. Brick Owl, on the other hand, fairly steady, kind of one up, one down, one up, one down, one up, one down, which is interesting, but I'm not sure it tells you an awful lot. So the year-on-year kind of analysis, obviously back in July 2023, we didn't start Brick Owl until October of that year, so we've got a few months where really the stats are focusing solely on Bricklink. 2023 was 44 sales versus 149 in July, which was actually 197, wasn't it? Anyway, and then Brick Owl, there was none, and then there was, it was 149 because it was 197 altogether. 48 across Brick Owl, which is obviously a large increase. In terms of the parts, from 2023 to 2024, that increase is huge, as you'd imagine. We've gone from 56,000 or something like that at the end of July through to 260 something thousand, 500 and something thousand, sorry, which is a 782% increase, and the lot count has increased by 81% in that time. Whilst that has happened, the revenue is 262% bigger than it was back in July 2023, which kind of speaks to a bigger store equals bigger revenue. Need to figure out how to kind of quantify how that works kind of per sale and stuff like that, but I will figure that out. And in terms of orders per day, 2023 was a 1.4, and I thought I was busy. 2024's July was 6.4, which was the busiest month to date, which is a 357% increase. And interestingly, orders over $100, so bigger orders, which kind of is a good metric, I feel, in terms of showing volume in the store and variety. Orders over 100 back in 2023 were 6, and in July 2024 there were 24 of those orders over $100, which is a 500% increase. So all in all, growth equals growth, which is the outtake of that, really. The usual stats from the month. Bricklink Parks, we ended the month on 498,653. What did we? Yeah, and we were just over the 14,000 lots. Bricklink fans had kind of done its usual increase. Sales per day, as I've just said, was its biggest it's been in history, certainly in 2024. Items sold slightly down, as we covered, but total orders up. YouTube subscribers, nice increase again, and that continues to kind of just canter along now, which is really nice and pleasing, which must mean that everyone's enjoying the content to some degree. Views slightly down, but pretty much didn't do any minifigure shorts through July, or very few, which does kind of take out 400-500 views per day. So if I had continued with that, I think we would have seen a marked increase. Again, something to find the time to do, but the focus was much more on getting stuff in the store through the month. And Instagram followers gently rising. It's a good place for a little bit of chat, a little bit of banter, and a nice kind of interaction with the community. Store buyer locations, New South Wales taking it out for the second month running. They've definitely kind of picked up the mantle from where we were with kind of Victoria and Queensland kind of trading it off month on month. The big mover there was WA, more local buyers than ever before, 39 in all, a real jump up from the month before, and kind of 1 month high, 1 month lower, 1 month high, 1 month lower. Overseas orders back into double digits there as well, so a good all-around performance, and the states all getting pretty close together now, as opposed to there being one clear winner. So perhaps a good sign that the stock in the store has got good general appeal. In terms of the store scale and positioning, again, I'm basing this on the parts in the store as opposed to items. Lots. Makes us 5th in WA, slightly behind Ali's Bricks and Bits, but who knows? We could catch that by the end of August. Bit of a comfortable buffer between us and Brick Womble as well, so we can kind of take a little bit of a hit and then recover towards the end of the month, although we're already halfway through it. And in terms of the overall Australia-wide, it puts us in 9th. Interesting how many WA stores are actually featured in the top 10. Quite impressive. No idea why that is, but it is what it is. But very happy to be up there, and equally the lot count is getting up there as well. We're some way behind a lot of the stores, but it's certainly something that is improving month on month. So August, obviously want to get back over 14,000 lots, continuing to improve the inventory and the analysis of what's required in the store and the purchasing of that. As I've said at the beginning there, trying to even out kind of things coming in the store, so not too reliant on new part outs, but equally having time to do new part outs without the pressure to get a lot of stuff in the store. The new drawer trays have arrived today. as I'm recording, so that will improve workflow and create a bit more room in the store. It certainly can only help with speeding things up. I'm currently picking between 50, 75 lots per half an hour. Definitely would like to get that higher so I can get through more quicker. We're going to have our first content from Mrs. Yellow Brick Road. She has her own kind of lineup of videos that she is keen to contribute and get recorded. First one we've just been working on today. Can't wait to get that out. Can't wait to see the reaction to that. Some good stuff, and it's great to have the wife involved. You know, she's been such an important part of the store's journey, so it's really special to both be starting to chip in on the YouTube channel as well. And Blocks were running an advertising kind of promotion for Brick Owl. And yes, it is a predominantly UK publication, but obviously its digital subscription has a much broader appeal. So I'm hoping I can get that sorted, despite the typo in there. And hopefully that'll allow us to increase Brick Owl sales a little bit through the month of September by the time the actual advert comes out. But on the whole, a great month. New territory marked and broken, and plenty more to come through August. So I hope you liked the video. If you've got any questions, any thoughts, any comments, please leave a comment down below or reach out to me on Bricklink. I'm always gonna reply, and you know, happy to do so. So just if you've got questions, fire them away. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month.